Chapter 3 of our management book is all about understanding the organization's environment. All organizations, regardless of their size, respond to changes in the environment. This was evident in the COVID-19 pandemic. While most organizations cannot predict a crisis of this magnitude, how can organizations prepare for changes in the environment? We can relate this to your family. Think of how your family had been affected by the pandemic. What were the changes that your family experienced due to the COVID situation in the environment? Because of the serious threat of the coronavirus, we all had to adapt to the new normal, which prompted schooling to be done at home. Your parents' work were also affected, and all throughout the world, people must adapt to the massive changes in the environment. Learning objectives. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to describe the nature of the organizational environment and the environments of interest to most organizations. Describe the components of the general and task environments and their impact on organizations. Identify the components of the internal environment and their impact on organizations. Discuss the importance and determinants of an organization's culture and how the culture can be managed. Describe the multicultural environment of business and major trends and dimensions of diversity and multiculturalism. Describe how the environment affects organizations and how organizations adapt to their environment. The organization's environments. A key element in effective management is determining the ideal alignment between the environment and the organizations. The external environment pertains to everything outside an organization's boundaries that might affect it, like suppliers, the weather, transportation, or government regulation. The internal environment pertains to the conditions and forces within an organization, such as employees, culture, or the physical environment. Understanding the difference between the external and internal environment will help us understand how organizations deal with the different challenges that they encounter. We can also relate this to ourselves. If we understand the difference between internal and external environments, we will be able to distinguish which situations are under our control, thus we have the power to change, and which situations are not under our control, to which we can only adapt to. The organization and its environments. The external environment is made up of the task environment and the general environment. The general environment is the broad dimensions and forces in the surroundings that create its overall context and not necessarily associated with other organizations. This includes the technological, economic, socio-cultural, political, and international dimensions. The task environment includes specific external organizations or groups that influence an organization. This includes the customers, suppliers, strategic partners, regulators, as well as competitors. The technological dimension considers methods available for converting resources into products or services. These may include integrated software systems, privacy and security issues, and also technological advancements in manufacturing and production like machineries and robotics. The economic dimension is the overall health and vitality of the economic system in which the organization operates. This includes factors such as recessions, high or low inflation rates, high or low interest rates, employment and unemployment rates, and buying powers of consumers. The socio-cultural dimension includes customs, mores, values, and demographic characteristics of the society in which the organization functions. The socio-cultural processes determine the products, services, and standards of conduct that society values. Political legal dimension includes government regulations of business and the relationship between business and government, such as taxes, economic growth and recession, pro or anti-business sentiments in government. International dimension refers to the extent to which an organization is involved in or is affected by business in other countries. This includes factors such as international competition, global suppliers, international sales and marketing efforts. As an example, let's look at the general environment of McDonald's. McDonald's need to take a look at the economic factors in the environment, such as the modest economic growth, high unemployment, and low inflation. The technological dimension includes improved information technology and more efficient operating systems that are available to help improve the food chain's processes. On the socio-cultural dimension, the demographic shifts in number of single adults and dual-income families and the growing concerns about health and nutrition. Remember that McDonald's is a fast food chain and their products does not really promote healthy and nutritious eating. The political legal factors that affect their business include government food standards, local zoning climate, general posture towards business regulation. The international dimension includes considerations for their restaurants present in 115 countries, which about two-thirds of sales are from outside their main United States headquarters. These factors exist outside of McDonald's, not under their control, but can affect their organization and their business. The task environment include competitors. These are the organizations that compete with other organizations for the same resources. This includes rivals selling similar or substitute products or firms competing for resources other than the customer's money. Resources include parts, raw materials, supplies, labor, customers. Customers refer to whoever pays money to acquire an organization's products or services. Critical differences has to be taken into consideration for international customer base. Suppliers are organizations or firms that provide resources for other organizations. Strategies might include buying from one supplier or from many. Strategic partners or allies are organizations that work together with one or more other organizations in a joint venture or similar arrangement. Forming strategic partners would help the business, especially when considering opening stores internationally or working with local suppliers. Regulators are units that have the potential to control, legislate, or otherwise influence the organization's policies and practices. The regulatory agency includes agencies created by the government to regulate business activities such as the Occupational Safety and Health Administration or the Food and Drug Administration and Environmental Protection Agency. Interest groups are those organized by members to attempt to influence business, such as safety committee or unions. Going back to our McDonald's example earlier, the task environment of McDonald's in the US branches include their competitors like Burger King, Starbucks, Subway, Dairy Queen. The customers, who are the individuals as well as institutional customers. The suppliers include Coca-Cola, wholesale food processors, packaging manufacturers, and others. Strategic partners include Walmart, Disney, and other foreign partners. Regulators are the Food and Drug Administration, Securities and Exchange Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, and other agencies whose policies and regulations have to be adhered to by the operations of McDonald's. These factors exist in the immediate environment of the company. They have no control over them, but they have a certain degree of influence over these factors. Now let's look at the internal environment. Owners are whoever can claim property rights on an organization. In smaller businesses, the owner is likely also to be the manager. In a large business, however, managers are more likely to be professional employees of the firm, while owners are typically the shareholders. Board of Directors is required of organizations that are incorporated. However, many other firms have them. The Board of Directors is the governing body elected by a corporation's stockholders and charged with overseeing the general management of the firm to ensure that it is being run in a way that best serves the stockholders' interests. At issue is corporate governance, meaning who is responsible and accountable for the actions of the business. Employees are the workforce in which now is becoming increasingly diverse in terms of age, gender, ethnicity, and other dimensions. Workers are also calling for more job ownership. There is increased reliance on temporary workers, which call for greater flexibility to be provided for workers and organizations. Labor unions have added an extra layer of complexity to the firm's internal environment. The physical work environment includes the location of the facility as well as its design and layout. The physical environment communicates an important symbolic message about the firm. Many are now moving to more open environments with small rooms for private businesses. The importance of organization culture. Organization culture are the set of values, beliefs, behaviors, customs, and attitudes that help members understand what it stands for and how it does things and what it considers important. A strong organization culture can shape the firm's overall effectiveness and long-term success and help employees be more productive. It determines the feel of the organization. Not every area of the same organization has the same culture. Culture is a powerful force that helps shape the firm's overall effectiveness and long-term success. Determinants of organization culture. Culture develops and blossoms over a long period of time. It often starts with the organization's founder. However, corporate success and shared experiences also shape organization culture. In order to manage corporate culture, managers must first understand the current culture. If the culture is one that is in the best interest of the firm, managers can reward behavior that is consistent with the existing culture in order to reinforce it. If the culture needs to be changed, managers must know what kind of culture they want and then bring in outside people for top management jobs, adopt new slogans, or tell new stories, among other things, to achieve that goal. The multicultural environment. Multiculturalism refers to the broad issues associated with differences in values, beliefs, behaviors, customs, and attitudes held by people from different cultures. Another factor is diversity, which exists in a group or organization when its members differ from one another along one or more important dimensions such as age, gender, or ethnicity. Trends in diversity and multiculturalism. Organizations today are becoming more diverse due to a variety of reasons. The demographics of the labor market are changing so that employees are more likely to be female, an ethnic minority, and older. Organizations seek out more diverse employees because of an increased awareness that diversity improves the quality of the workforce. Legislation and legal action also has required organizations to be more diverse. Globalization has contributed to more diversity in organizations as employees cross national boundaries more often. The most fundamental trend is that we are becoming more diverse and multicultural. The average age of the workforce is gradually and continually increasing and is expected to do so for the next years to come. This may be due to declining birth rates, the aging of the baby boomers, longer life expectancy, improved health and medical care that extends the worker's productive life, and fewer people having sufficient savings to pay for retirement. Gender. The number of females in the workforce is increasing while the number of males is shrinking. Women face special problems in the workforce such as glass ceilings. A glass ceiling is a barrier that keeps females from advancing to top management positions in many organizations and in other countries. Diversity dimensions also include physical mobility, religious beliefs, single parents, dual career couples, sexual orientation, dietary preferences, and political ideologies. Some organizations actively enhance their multiculturalism. Soon, all companies may become multicultural due to changes in the external labor market. How environments affect organization. Environmental change and complexity focuses on two dimensions. First, the rate of change, whether the rate is stable, wherein the rate is considered only to be of a little amount, or dynamic, which involves a great amount of change. Second, the degree of homogeneity of the environment. It is relatively simple if it involves few elements and little segmentation, or relatively complex, which involve many elements and much segmentation. These two dimensions combine to determine the level of uncertainty an organization faces. The least amount of environment uncertainty is found in organizations with stable, simple environments, whereas the greatest environmental uncertainty is found in organizational environments that are dynamic and complex. Competitive forces. The five competitive forces in the environment are the following. Competitive rivalry. These are the nature of competitive relationships between dominant firms in the industry. Second, the threat of new entrants. This refers to the extent to which new competitors can easily enter a market. Third is the threat of substitute products. This refers to the extent to which alternative products or services can affect the need for existing products or services. The power of buyers are the extent to which buyers in an industry can influence the suppliers. The power of suppliers refers to the extent to which suppliers can influence potential buyers. Environmental turbulence consists of changes in the organization's environment that may or may not be expected. Crisis is the most common form of turbulence. How organizations adapt to their environment. Organizations are not totally at the mercy of their environments. Indeed, several options exist through which they may adapt to or directly influence their environments. Information management. involves collecting, monitoring, and reading the environment available to the firm. There are various techniques available to manage the information. Boundary spanner refers to someone who spends much of his or her time in contact with others outside the organizations. Environmental scanning is the process of actively monitoring the environment through activities such as observation and reading, and having an effective information system refers to electronic systems designed to gather and organize relevant information for managers and assist in summarizing that information in the form most pertinent to each manager's needs. Strategic response refers to realizing something has changed and determining what action, if any, is needed, and altering strategy, adopting an entirely new strategy. Other strategies involve mergers, acquisitions, and alliances. Mergers are two or more firms which combine to form a new firm. Acquisition means one firm buys another, sometimes against its will, or what is called hostile takeover. A firm taken over ceases to exist. Alliance refers to firms forming a new venture with another company. Organization design and flexibility refers to how an organization adapts to environmental conditions by incorporating flexibility. Direct influence. Some firms can directly influence their environment, like signing long-term contracts with suppliers, vertical integration, lowering prices, creating new products, and finding new customers. Now that the lesson has ended, you will have learned how to describe the nature of the organizational environment and the environments of interest to most organizations. Describe the components of the general and task environments and their impact on organizations. Identify the components of the internal environment and their impact on organizations. Discuss the importance and determinants of an organization's culture and how the culture can be managed. Describe the multicultural environment of businesses and major trends and dimensions of diversity and multiculturalism. Describe how the environment affects organizations and how organizations adapt to their environment. And that is Chapter 3, Understanding the Organization's Environment.